Meet Annie here, and it is Monday on Pagan Perspective. And our topic this week came from Elm, who is asking a lot of different and very interesting questions about Akasha, or spirit, or the fifth point on the Pentacle. Elm starts with, what is your approach to the fifth element, spirit, Akasha, with question marks. So I'm taking the question that is, what does it mean to me? What does the fifth point, what does spirit or Akasha mean to me? I have to honestly say it means different things to me at different times. There are many times at which the fifth point on the Pentacle to me is simply all that I can't know. The glorious aspects of mystery. Because air, fire, water, and earth are things I can come to know. They are of my world, and I come to know them intimately. So they represent the here and the now to me in my experience of living. And that fifth point on the Pentacle, when it feels like mystery to me, it's everything I don't know. Everything that's outside of that physical experience that I am exploring and touching on, and sometimes coming to know. But often that fifth point on the Pentacle represents the things I don't understand. So the fifth point can be mystery to me. I am in my tradition inspired by the classic Greek take on what the elements might be and where they may have come from. So in that sense, the fifth point on the Pentacle becomes the all. It is what existed before reality manifested out of that, and by that I mean physical reality. It's the non-physical reality, the wholeness from which the elements manifested into their own distinct properties. So in that sense, it's not just the whole, but it is the whole in the sense of the place the elements began. And that brings me to another of my experiences of what that fifth point means to me at different times, which is the beginning and the end. So it is where things come from and where things return. The beginning and the end. The forces of creation and destruction. And in that way, when I think of the fifth point, I really do think of it in a way, in its forms of Brahma. The three forms of Brahma, to me, fit nicely into my view of the Pentacle and the levels of existence. There is Brahma, the all, the energy of life, the essence of life. There's nothing physical about Brahma. It's all about whatever it is that makes life vital, gives it its essence. That's Brahma. That to me is the fifth point on the Pentacle. And then there is Vishnu. And Vishnu, that's the energy of the here and now, the physical world, what exists and what we come to know, because it's within our ability to understand it. And the power of Vishnu is the other 4 points on the Pentacle to me: air, fire, water, and earth. Existence in its physical form. Then the third aspect of Brahma is Shiva, the destroyer. So we start with Brahma, which is the essence of life, which is the vitality of life. We come to the reality of life in physical form, and then there is whatever breaks that down and destroys it and takes it back into, again, the all. So Brahma and Shiva are the point on the Pentacle, to me, that is the fifth point. The essence of life and the essence of destruction. And destruction in that awesome, amazing Shiva energy of you cannot have life without the constant transformation, the death, the ending, the tearing apart, the return. And then we're back into the cycle of Brahma again. So another way I look at it is the beginning and the end. The creation and the destruction, where everything comes from, where everything returns to. So if that's not enough, there's yet another thing that I think of when I think of the fifth point on the Pentacle. what it means to me. And at this point in my life, it is actually the thing which seems to be resonating the most powerfully with me, and I've chosen the word resonating on purpose. I go through these phases in my relationship to the elements, because if I were going to label myself anything, it would be an elemental, which to me it's all about partnering with and being one with and achieving things through that partnership with the elements. And it is about aligning oneself with any of the elements one chooses, truly vibrating with them. And in the process of doing that, there is a resonance, a vibration that we send out into the ether, to the world that is not the physical world. And I truly believe that when we offer that vibration, that essence, that sending out the call, the wordless call, the song, the feeling of what an element is, it creates a vibration that the spiritual aspect of that element recognizes. And that's how it attends our circle, and it is how it attends our life, and it is how it arrives and partners with us in our magics. So I often think of the fifth point on the Pentacle as vibration, as what we offer up. When I call up the energy of any particular element or a combination of elements in my circle, when I call them all in and I offer that up in my circles, the fifth point of the Pentacle to me is the vibration, the hum, the call out to the etheric side, to the energetic side, to the non-physical side of what I work with. So that would be another take that I have on what the fifth point means. My first feeling is it is mystery. The second is some sense of the awe, just the vastness of existence. Then a sense of beginning and end, and then a sense of vibration. All those things, sometimes all at once, and sometimes every now and then one or the other thing feels more powerfully true to me. Elm goes on, does it have correspondences, tools, directions, or elementals? Not for me, but I have known people who have had all of those. They've had correspondences, they've had tools, some use their patent for that. Directions would be maybe up and down, or it might be within. The place of the knowing inside, before the knowing outside. Elementals, some have certain guardians or spirits which represent that element to them. I don't have tools, correspondences, directions, or elementals for the fifth point on the Pentacle. Then Elm goes on to say, how does your view of it affect your views of the elemental points of the Pentacle? I've struggled with this idea. To me it says they are balanced, but I don't accept spirit as an element. And I understand where Elm is coming from with that. If we're looking at our pentacles, so I grabbed one of mine for you here. And if we have the 4 points, which are air, fire, water, and earth, and then we add in the fifth point for spirit, it does make it seem like we're bringing them all to the same level of understanding. We're balancing it out, balancing out 5, not 4. But if we look at, if these points all represent the 4 elements, no matter what point we ascribe what elements to, this could then be, if this was the 4 elements, this could be the sum of them all, what they create to become. And if we look at the Pentacle this way, there is the 5th element as the source, which then becomes the 4 elements. This symbol, the inverted pentacle, was actually a very important symbol when I was being trained. The inverted pentacle was seen as a sign of matter over spirit. Not in a bad way or an imbalanced way, but the fact that at that point in our studies, this is what we understood. We understood the 4. We were studying them together and learning them and learning to work with them. This, the 4, was what we understood. And then as we studied and trained and came to our 2nd level, our 2nd degree, spirit rose to the top of our experience and what we studied. And we got to the point that this together and the understanding of what this was became what that next level in our experience was. So to me, it has never felt like an imbalanced odd number on the Pentacle, or that by Spirit being on the Pentacle, that it was somehow an element equal to the others. My understanding of it on the Pentacle is what everything comes from and what everything goes to. So the Pentacle and the inverted Pentacle, the symbol of both of them. Elm then goes on to say, I feel, understand, believe. I loved that combination of feeling something, coming to understand, and then truly believe in it. I love that process of those three words that Elm used. I feel, understand, believe Spirit to be the accumulation of the four elements, the stuff the physical world is made of. So Elm, you'll see in all the different ways I look at that fifth point, that's one of them. That to me is all the four leading to Spirit. It is one of the several ways that I look at the fifth point of the Pentacle. I wish you mirth and reverence. Mary Part.